I'm in the kitchen where the yummy food is. How much do you love food? Do you eat for pleasure? Do you eat for performance? Do you eat for both? And when you eat, do you get a pleasurable experience? Very sadly, a lot of people would say no to that. There's a lot of people who eat and feel guilty. Some people feel guilty because of what they ate, and some people feel guilty just because they ate. And isn't that a sad headspace to be in? So how do we make sure that, and as adults, I can't change what adults do and I can't change adults' headspaces, but children are a different story. I work with children every single day, and I would love kids to really enjoy their food, to be excited about all the yummy food there is in the world, and to not have any good or bad foods inside their headspace. I can't eat that, it's bad for me. I need to eat that, mummy told me it's good for me. I don't like it, but I have to eat it. This good and bad, can't have, mustn't have, shouldn't have, don't have. Feel guilty if you eat it. Feel angry if you can't have it. How do we stop that from happening to our kids? Adults, and there's so many adults who live with that every single day. And I often share this, the neuroscientists, psychologists, psychiatrists who work with people that have eating challenges, so anorexia, bulimia, exercise bulimia, obesity, all the things where food is affecting your mental health, food is affecting your happiness even. And wouldn't that be sad? I can't be happy because I can't have the foods that I want, or I feel guilty because I had some food that I think is a bad food. I don't want anybody to live like that. And I'll share again, I can't stop adults from, there's a lot of adults that just can't be changed. And I share that because, and I hate the word can't, but unfortunately, there's been a really interesting comparison with being an alcoholic or being addicted to drugs or being addicted to something, the same as being addicted to a poor headspace when it comes to food. So there's a lot of people that have food challenges, and I don't like to call them eating disorders, but that's what the world calls them. So if you have anorexia or bulimia or exercise bulimia, or you're obese, where food is controlling your life. And I'll use that as a very classic example. On the emotional eating scale, where 0 is you eat logically, you eat for no emotional reasons whatsoever, you eat because you're hungry, you stop eating when you're full, you love all of your food, there's no good or bad foods inside your headspace. That's 0 on the emotional eating scale. When you go to 10 on the emotional eating scale, food is controlling your life. Everything about food is emotional. You don't eat because you're hungry, you eat because you're angry, or because you're frustrated, or because you're sad, or because you're happy, or you don't eat because you feel guilty. That's a horrible place to live. And I want to make sure that our kids stay at 0. So obviously we're born at 0. We're hungry, we eat food. We're full, we stop eating food. That's a healthy endocrine system. Your hormones are looking after you to make sure that you don't become overweight, you don't get fat, you've got a stack of energy, all the things that food should be doing for us. And I always share that about food. Our food process shouldn't, if whatever we're eating, shouldn't we be able to say, my food gives me a stack of energy, it helps me perform at my best, I have a body that I love in the mirror and I love the way my body feels to touch, and I'm getting the results that I want from my eating plan. So if I'm eating for performance, I have high performance. If I'm eating for pleasure, it gives me great joy and pleasure. Whatever reason you eat for, whatever eating plan you're on, shouldn't it be giving you those 4 things? So I'll share them again. A stack of energy, high performance, a body that you love and that feels good from the inside and the outside, and you're getting the results that you want. So if your eating plan's not giving you that, if it's not working for you that way, what do you need to do differently? And again, I can't change what adults do, but I want our kids to live that way. They eat every day because they want to be energetic, or they are, and they eat to be energetic. They perform at their best, whether it's sport or their hobby or school or their dance class or their martial arts class. They just love their healthy, fit, strong body. They never have body image challenges. They never feel fat or ugly, or they look in the mirror and they're just happy that they're alive and they're a human being that functions effectively. So how do we make that happen? And is it possible that as adults we really need to take responsibility for what our kids are hearing when it comes to food? So do we say, don't have that, it's bad for you. You can't eat that, it'll make you fat. I'm on a diet because I'm fat. I'm going on a weight loss drug because I'm fat. If our kids hear that, again, it doesn't matter what we tell them, eat this healthy food. They don't listen to what we say, they watch what we do. And if mummy's always on a diet, or daddy's always whinging about the foods that he can't have, or this is a good or a bad food, is it possible that that affects our children's headspace, and they end up with the same horrible mental health challenges that a lot of adults have got? And there's been some interesting statistics and studies done on how many people have an emotional some kind of dysfunction when it comes to food. And very sadly, if it's not all the time, it might be most of the time, some of the time, but unfortunately most adults have some kind of guilt attached to food. If you're eating food, you love it, you eat because you're hungry, you stop eating when you're full, you eat all the foods that you love, you never eat foods that you don't love just because they're healthy, there's very few people like that. Isn't that sad? So is it possible that regardless of what's going on inside your headspace as an adult, would it be a really good idea to share with our kids, and maybe it's a great reason to be the living example for our kids, yummy food? And not that cake and lollies and chocolates and biscuits are the only yummy foods. Because if we say, I hate these green vegetables, but I have to eat them because they're good for me, isn't it possible that kids get the same, oh, I don't want to eat my green veggies, but I have to because they're good for me? Why not eat your green veggies because you love having a healthy, fit, strong body? Why not eat healthy food because you want to have a healthy body, rather than I have to eat this healthy food even though I don't like it? And that, I say that with a bit of sarcasm, but I deal with people like that all the time. They're eating something, they've got a miserable look on their face, and I say, are you enjoying that? It's obvious that they're not. And they say, no, but I have to eat this because it's part of my diet, or it's part of what my social media influencer told me I have to eat, or I have to eat this because it's healthy even though I don't like it. Well, why would you eat something that you don't like? The 4 things again: energy, performance, love your body, getting the results that you want. Surely we need to develop a way to eat so that you get all of those things without having to eat foods that you don't like, and without feeling guilty or angry about the foods that you do eat. So obviously the ultimate way for all of that to be effective is to have a healthy, fit, strong body. Because a healthy, fit, strong body has a healthy, fit, strong endocrine system, hormonal system. And our hormones are responsible for telling us not just that we're hungry and stop eating that because we're full, but also what we need. If you listen to your body really carefully, it will tell you you're thirsty, you need to have a drink. You're hungry, you need to have some food. But it'll also tell you what kind of food. Have you ever said that? I feel like. If you listen carefully to your body, and if you've got a fit, strong body, it'll tell you. So if you're lacking in something, you'll feel like eating whatever you're lacking in. And whether that's a steak or an apple or a piece of cheese, and they're all foods that you need to love, but if you love the food and your body needs protein, carbohydrate or fat, your body will tell you. Now, the really interesting thing to consider though, and if you study the human body and how it all works together, a lot of people think they need to study nutrition. But ultimately, the study of nutrition is about what food is, and there's a whole heap of complicated things when it comes to nutrition. I like to look at food from a physiological point of view. What do I need so that I can perform at my best, have a stack of energy, look good and feel good and get the results that I want? And that is all about exercise physiology or body physiology. So if I move my body, because any movement, and the body's meant to move, it's never meant to sit down. And if you do sit down, you're going to have some serious challenges with your body, obviously. Because if you're not moving your body says, well, there's a whole heap of things that don't need to function well because you're not exercising, you're not getting puffed, you're not lifting heavy. So with all the things that are required to make that happen, they can waste away because you're not using your body. If you don't use it, you lose it. So if you're sitting down all the time, you lose strength in your legs. If you don't get puffed, your heart gets weak and your cardiovascular and respiratory system gets weak. That's just how the human body works. It's designed to protect or look after what you're doing at the moment. So I want to be a healthy, fit, strong human being that's really fit and really strong, which means my endocrine system is really fit and really strong. So I know what I need to eat. And I'm in the kitchen. I come in here and it's a real simple process. I'm hungry, I'm going to eat food, what do I feel like? And if I've been exercising all day, which is most of my days, then I need to replace the energy required to exercise with. And I exercise at 100% effort. That all comes from carbohydrate, glycogen in your muscles, glycogen in your liver, glucose for your brain. So I'm often looking for carbohydrate. If it's been a really long day and I've had a big long endurance event, I'm looking for some fat food. If I have to look after my body and rebuild it, I'm obviously looking for some protein, and we need all three. But the really interesting thing about the three big macronutrients, alcohol is also a macronutrient, and just as a very important side note, this is why there's no good or bad foods. If I'm about to die from hunger, I haven't had any food for 3 weeks because I've been in the desert or in the bush, or for some reason I haven't eaten. If I come across something that contains fat, carbohydrate, protein, or alcohol, the 4 macronutrients, if I eat them, I'll survive. So if I come across a pound of butter and I eat it, it will keep me alive. If I come across a carton of beer and I drink it, it'll keep me alive. If I come across a bag of sugar and I eat it, it'll keep me alive. And if I have an animal or some milk or some cheese or some yogurt and I eat it, it'll keep me alive. So technically there's no good or bad foods, because those 4 macronutrients, if you're about to die, if you eat them, you won't die. So how can they be bad foods? Because they're going to keep you alive. Now, too much of anything, it doesn't matter what it is, and I always have a joke about this one. One of my students at the Max Colleges, we were talking about green vegetables, and he ate a very large amount of broccoli or Brussels sprouts, something like that, and all at the same time. Now, technically, a green vegetable is really good for you. But if you eat 2, 3, 4 kilos at once, and he shared very openly that he was bloated, he was very uncomfortable, he was passing wind that was very, very smelly, and he never wants to do it again because it made him feel terrible. So you can say that green vegetables are good for you, but in a large amount they're not good for you. You have to be hydrated, but if you drink too much water, you'll die. Some people love to drink alcohol, and if you have a couple of glasses of wine, it makes you feel good. But if you get drunk and you're constantly drinking alcohol in excessive amounts, you will have a body that doesn't function well, and you'll become an alcoholic, so your whole life gets destroyed. So maybe it's not about good or bad foods. Maybe it's about the amount in which you eat them. And if you've got a healthy endocrine system, you can't overeat, and that's the really exciting thing. Your body will tell you, I'm full, I don't want any more. So whether you're eating chocolate or cake or biscuits or chicken breast or broccoli or an apple or a glass of wine or a packet of chips, doesn't matter what you put into your body, when you've had enough, when you've got a healthy, fit, strong body, your hormonal system will say, stop eating, you're full. And that's why I love coming into the kitchen and why I love food so much, because I eat all the things that I love, but I can't overeat. Doesn't matter one of my favorite foods, for example, is chocolate. I love chocolate, but I can't eat too much because when I'm full, my body says it's enough now, and I don't even want to eat anymore because I'm full. The concept of I've got to eat the whole packet or I've got to eat the whole bag, when you've got a healthy, fit, strong endocrine hormonal system, you can't do that because you're not hungry, so you don't keep eating. So if I wrap all of that and wrap it up in a very simple process, get fit and get strong. Get puffed to get fit, lift heavy to get strong. Do it safely so you don't get injured. Do it short so you don't get bored. Then you'll have all the systems in your body working effectively. So your brain will be healthy, central nervous system, endocrine system, because your endocrine system starts in your brain. Your heart and lungs will be healthy. Your skin and muscles, bones, ligaments, tendons, joints will be healthy. Your immune system will be healthy. Your digestive system will be healthy. And it will all work together to look after you. And I love saying that if you look after your body, it will look after you. So then there's no emotional eating scale, because you don't eat emotionally. You don't eat because you're angry, because that's just silliness, isn't it? You eat because you're hungry and you stop eating when you're full. You don't eat because it's a wedding. If you go to a wedding or a party or a buffet, you don't eat too much because your hormones say, we're full, we don't want any more. But if you are unhealthy, if your endocrine system's busted, and of course, if you're not fit and you're not strong, every system in your body's busted, broken or not working properly. So you eat for the wrong reasons. You keep eating even though you're not hungry anymore because you're angry or frustrated or annoyed or you need comfort food. That's a really interesting concept of eating for comfort. That is obviously emotional, it's not logical. So the emotional eating scale is logical: eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full, eat all the foods that you love, don't eat the foods that you don't like. And a really interesting food philosophy to consider: eat real food. How about that? Eat food that grows in the ground or runs on the ground, that hasn't been screwed with by humans. So it's real food, and most of what you eat is real food. And then for your mental health, for the pleasure of, and there's no good or bad foods, but the food that you love to eat, so whether it's chocolate or cake or biscuits or ice cream or doesn't matter. All those things that are considered bad foods, you eat them for pleasure because they're really yummy. You don't feel guilty when you eat them because they're not bad foods. If you're about to die and you came across a bag of lollies, those lollies would keep you alive. If you're about to die and you come across a packet of chips and you eat that packet of chips, you won't die, it'll keep you alive. So there's no bad food, because any food that keeps you alive, stops you from dying, obviously has to be good for you. So how about we eat with a logical brain? You can't have a logical brain if you're unfit and unhealthy. If your brain's not functioning effectively, the rest of your body won't be functioning effectively because you can't think clearly. But when you've got a fit, strong body, your muscles send a message back to your brain to say we need to be a healthy, fit, strong human being for everything that happens in our life. So for me, it's a very simple process. And I wish it was that simple. And for our kids, I hope as adults that we make it that simple. I don't want our kids to go on a diet. I don't want our kids to be on weight loss drugs. I don't want our kids to be sick. I want our kids to eat for pleasure and eat for performance. I want our kids to have a stack of energy, perform at their best, love their body because it's a healthy, fit, strong body, and to always get the results they want from their healthy eating plan and their healthy exercise plan. Should we be the living example for that? I hope so. So if you want to live your life to the max, enjoy your food, love your exercise, positive attitude, and make sure that every day you have a big, huge smile on your face so you can live your life to the max. Super duper doo, yummy food. I love my yummy food. Woohoo!